Good morning. Welcome everyone to the Gap Mastermind call. I am Rebecca Soto, your host today. We have these calls each week, every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And excuse me, did I say 9 a.m.? It's 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And we're excited. We're here all about educating and empowering our real estate community. Thank you for joining us today. We invite you to invite other guests. If you know someone who should be on this call, please invite them. And if you can tell us in the chat real quick, let us know where you are tuning in from. I'm here in Orlando, Florida. It's a nice, beautiful, sunny day, nice and hot already. Tell us what it's like in your neck of the woods. I know that it's still cold in some other parts up north, but we're here talking about each week about growth, action, and productivity. And so we bring you amazing speakers that bring topics to help educate you to help you scale your business. And so this week we have an amazing speaker, but before we go into him, I do want to remind you that the replays are available online on the YouTube channel and in our globalallianceuniversity.com, where you can catch all the replays of previous shows. This one will be added later this week. And also special announcement, who is registered for Build at Sea. So this year, our Build conference will be right here in Central Florida, one of them, because they are doing them regionally, and we are having it on a cruise. So it is an amazing opportunity to join us. We're going to have fantastic speakers. I don't know if today's guest speaker might be one of those speakers joining us on the cruise. They are still putting all of that together, but we do have Brent Gove confirmed, of course, your team here who is in charge of putting it together will be there. So I will be present, Josue will be present, Veronica, Carlos, Gil will all be there. And many of you have already registered. If you've registered already for this event, please say so in the chat. Let us know if you're registered and ready, or if you're planning to attend. I know that they are working, they're doing like payment plans. So they're making it really easy. It's very affordable, and it's going to be on the Utopia of the Seas. You do not want to miss this. This is going to be in August 2nd through the 5th. And it's going to be a fantastic time. You can bring your family. We encourage you to bring your family, bring your spouse, bring your partner, bring your team, bring your team. This is going to help them grow and scale their business specifically, not just, well, in EXP, but also as a team. So if you're looking for something that's going to give you more ideas, to help give you some motivation, to help you see how other people are crushing it in real estate, and hear from some amazing speakers. Did I mention Brent Gove is going to be there? He's not going to all of them. He's going to be at ours. So you want to be present at the Build at Sea 24 conference, buildatc24.com. I don't know if somebody can, okay, Jenny, thank you for sharing that in the chat there. You can easily register today for that one. Also, I'm going to be in Wisconsin. I don't know if our Wisconsin peeps are here on the call today, but we're going to be at the Legacy Builders Summit. A lot of fantastic speakers that we have lined up over there. Coach Bill Pipes will be the keynote speaker. I will also be there as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing our Wisconsin fam. And I think we've got some Chicago people that are going to be there as well. So many people actually from Minnesota as well. So there's many people flying into that conference. If you want to join us there, that is this week. And it is, you can get details at Legacy Builders Summit, legacybuilderssummit.com. I'll share that link later in the chat with you. But now to shift over and introduce our amazing speaker. He's here to talk to us about how to build our Instagram business, specifically for real estate. And then also stay to the end, because we'll have Q&A with Damika Cobb, who is another Instagram influencer. She'll be leading Q&A with our speaker. But today's speaker is a great friend of mine, Joseph Trujillo. And he is among the top 1% leaders in EXP Realty. He has attracted over 1,400 agents worldwide. He's empowering agents through personalized coaching, leadership training, brand strategies. His initiatives help agents to achieve high performance, balance work and life, which is so hard to do, and grow their careers. His mission is to elevate real estate, real estate industry, and create a legacy of success. Now, he has a background of 25 years serving our federal government, including high-level roles in law enforcement, and he is a U.S. Marine. Thank you for your service. From leading high-profile criminal investigations, anti-terrorism efforts, to growing now leaders in the real estate industry, helping them scale their businesses. We have lots to learn from you, Joseph. Please light up the chat. Let's welcome Joseph to our call. Get ready to take some notes. And Joseph, take it away.
Let's go. Thank you, Rebecca. So much love going out to you and the family. You guys are my favorite. I love you guys.
Thank you. And, I want to say real quick, like I got to work with you personally in EXP Latino, which is another department that we served in. And it's been such a pleasure and an honor. And I'm so glad to have you here on our call. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm ready to take some notes. So let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What's up? What's up, good family? You guys doing great? All right. As many of you as possible, if you guys could come off camera, don't care what you look like. I want to make sure you guys get maximum value out of this conversation. Rebecca, do I have an ability to share? It looks like I do. Thank you so much. How much time do I have, Rebecca, just to confirm?
You have literally, I would say, at least a good 30 minutes. Where are we at? 35 minutes.
Okay, this is about an hour of fire, guys, but we're going to turn this into about 25 minutes of just power information, okay? And I want to encourage everybody, drop, what was that?
Nothing, I just said, we're ready, let's go.
All right, yeah, drop your comments, questions, anything like that in the chat box. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about Instagram growth as it pertains specifically. I want to highlight production, right? Because that's where our bread and butter is. I want to talk about production, but this is also very captive as it relates to growing, your organizations or your teams and recruitment. So it's kind of comprehensive, and I'm going to go ahead and share this with you. You guys can see my screen, right? We're good? Outstanding. So I have multiple chapters in this ebook. If you guys stay to the end, I'm going to drop the link so you guys can download all of this. So just take your copious notes as it relates to stuff that you're learning that's new, but I'm going to give you the ebook at the end of this conversation. Sounds good? All right, let's rock. So again, everybody's very in tune with Instagram and how important it is to have it in your social media showcasing. Obviously, we've all been in line with growing our businesses through an online platform. And I just always like to reiterate, especially for those that have not made it their primary source of social output, is definitely tune in to one of the three big ones, right? Either be on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube is the other one that's just catching fire right now. But creating one space at least that is your primary landscape is something that I was taught, and I would definitely suggest that many of you do that. It's essentially how I built when I was working for the government full-time, and I was a part-time quote-unquote agent in my first few years at EXP. How I was able to sell 50 and 75 homes part-time, and I was really leveraging social media. I was leveraging all my KV Core personal links, and I was implementing all the tools and technology all into one space, but it was primarily driven by the output of Instagram and how many people I could touch, right? And like many of you will probably understand, we are all, especially in real estate, I know initially I was taught traditionally is to farm, cultivate your relationships, your sphere of influence, center of influence. That was great, but I didn't have a lot of relationships in real estate when I first got into real estate 6 years ago. So what I wanted to do was, instead of having my 500 to 700 people that I could touch on my phone, I quickly realized is the best way to touch more people was to get socially involved and be able to touch hands, not just in my city, not just in my state, but in the country and in the world. Okay. So one of the primary functions of Instagram is essentially to create a space where you're establishing a really strong presence. Because guys, right now with social media, this is literally your background check for your clients, right? So when you touch in with your clients and they want to verify that you are, you know, the market expert, or that you're the go-to agent for listings or buyer representation, especially coming up in this upcoming change, is the way that they're going to validate you is through social media. How many of you guys raise your hands if that's what you do now when you meet somebody new and you want to figure out like who exactly you're talking to, right? It's the background check that exists today. In the past, it used to be a Google search, but studies have shown that more people will check on you on social media platforms than they actually will on Google, than they actually will read your reviews. So that's how powerful it is to be able to have a platform that is going to establish yourself separately from the competition. Okay. Now, how do you create that platform? A lot of us, you know, including myself, is I used to give it a lot of overthought. I used to only want to post specific information or photos or videos that I thought were really refined. Many of us fall casualty to that kind of mindset. I encourage you guys that as often that you can post high quality photos or very immersive videos, that it is gonna increase the likelihood of you connecting with a larger audience. You're gonna get more scalability. You are gonna trigger algorithms on social media that are gonna touch more hands, right? So just simply put, like if you're putting your upcoming listings, how the best way for you to market that is with the best videos and with the best marketing material that you can possibly have. But all worst comes to worst is this little dandy thing called an iPhone or Android, whatever it is you may be using, will serve the same functionality. And many times it can actually create more of a connection with your audience. It's more authentic, it's more valuable. They feel like you're keeping it real. And then you're sending them content right from the phone that gives them the information that they need to be able to be informed consumers, right? Informed consumers, right? So 3 really compelling reasons why I like social media wise, IG is my spot, right? I used to use Facebook often, and now I'm actually transitioning quite heavily into LinkedIn to be able to create other business relationships. But social media wise, Instagram is very unparalleled when it comes to the opportunity for you to be able to create relationships, and also, more importantly, create business through those relationships. So by using functionalities like stories, which we'll get into, by using a nice mixture of posts, a mixture of lives, you can be the information flow for your consumers where they see you as that market expert, right? And with use of links, with uses of other funnels where you can drive your clientele into spaces where they're looking at homes, they're checking properties, they're very in tune. You can pull your clients from some of the other sites, so then that way they stay hyper focused on working and creating relationships with you. One of the things that I had noticed when I was a relatively new agent was I noticed that all buyers and sellers, and the statistic is very high, guys, all buyers and sellers either start off or they continue to kind of live on the 3 major websites. They're on Zillow, Realtor.com, and Redfin. Very high statistic of them operating in that space. So our job as real estate agents is, to the best of your ability, you need to pull clientele from those spaces and operate in your space. You got to get them away from the sharks, because the other agents that are paying for paid ads on all those other sites, they are doing everything in their ability to capture your leads and to create a service to them. So your job is think like that. You got to think of competitive market spaces, pulling them off of those sites, having them live in your databases, having them live in your social media. The best way to do that is through relationship. Okay. You guys agree to that? You guys are doing that? Yes, yes. Love it. All right. So how do we optimize your profile, right? Because like we said earlier on, clients are going to pay close attention to how your social media looks, the visualization of it. Yes, it absolutely does matter, right? Having little things like a very clean professional picture up top will immediately give you that look like, okay, this is a professional I'm talking to. So if you have if your profile picture is, I don't know, Mickey Mouse, you may want to change it, right? You're a professional real estate agent. Carry yourself as such. Very, very important. These other elements, suggestions, right? Have a business name, have a business category. Make sure that you're directing your traffic to a clickable URL that's business related. They should be going, like if you're hyper focused in sales, you should be sending them to a landing page, a KV core page, somewhere where you're going to be able to lead capture your clients. Lead capture. Because what good does it do for you guys to make this fantastic reel or video that goes viral, 1,000 people's hit on your profile, and then you don't capture none of them? It's all for nothing. So make sure your clickable URL is a functional site for your business, your primary business, that is. Story highlights, I'm a big fan of them. I like to be able to reference old highlights to be able to capture a little bit of storytelling, right? And this is where the relationship building really comes in with social media. It's not for likes, it's not for comments, it's relationship building. It is for you to connect with another individual, develop rapport so they know, like, and trust you and want to do business with you, okay? Want to do business with you. There's some really great stats out there, team, that show like people have to see you, hear you, recognize you somewhere between 7 to 10 times before you're even given any spacious thought in their brain housing group. 7 to 10 times where you have to touch somebody. You have to make deposits in order for them to realize and recognize you. So given that thought, the more you post, the more content you're putting out that's valuable to the service of your clients, you're going to be able to reap a lot of connections there. Okay. All right. So we just kind of covered all these. Again, all of this will be in detail in the ebook that I'm going to share with you. Okay. Let me lower this page down. We covered this, right? Why is it so compelling? And now I want to talk to you about stories, because this is essentially where I built my real estate production business when I first got into real estate. Now, I believe in 2018, when I first joined EXP, reels weren't even out yet. So that wasn't a thing, but stories had just come out, right? And you guys remember those little links that we can put on for free right now? Well, back then you couldn't put in links unless you had at least 10,000 followers. So it was very unique space in order to capture new business. Fortunately for me, when I was in the government, I was kind of a serial entrepreneur. So I had clothing lines of business. I ran CrossFit gyms. And so I was able to build a marketplace where I had 10,000 followers. And then I just leveraged it in EXP, in real estate. So as I was doing that, back then I already was thinking like reels. I was creating these little mini movies of my open houses, of my upcoming listings. And then I was just super extra with it, right? And what I mean by that is, like, I didn't care how many times I was putting out the same content. I just redid the content for each opportunity. So every listing I would have, I was posting something about, the photo shoot. I was posting something about the walkthrough. I was posting something about the open houses, in escrow, closed, client relationship. Like, they were getting hit 5 to 7 times for every single opportunity that I had. And you know what that did for me is this, and I'm sure many of you, this will resonate. When you're transitioning from occupation or career to career, or you haven't become the known person in your family or in your community as that real estate agent, sometimes we overthink it. I know I did. I was like, they're not going to, I have 25 years of government experience. They're not going to think of me as a realtor. But after depositing so much information to them, it became a no-brainer. Like, I didn't even have to like present myself as such. They knew me as a real estate professional because of my social media postings. So the story part of this that I would really love for you guys to resonate with is get heavy in the stories, right? Get heavy in the stories. one way that my agents on my team have been crushing it throughout the last few years at EXP with stories is literally just using that customizable hyperlink that KV Core gives all of us for every single property, not just your own, but the ones that you have access through KV Core. If you just take that personalized link and you start posting about these opportunities in your stories, people will click on that link all day. And when they do, after they see a few pictures, it'll ask them for their name, email, and phone number. When they fill in that information, lead capture, and it dumps right into your KV Core platform. Did you guys know that? How many of you guys knew that and are using it? See, many of you didn't even know that. So that's like a golden nugget right there, guys. Like, I have people on my team that are getting like one deal a month just from doing that. Do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Put it in your calendar, make it consistent, and just put content out there with that clickable link. And I'm sure somebody on the team here can show you, where that link is. Just for sake of time, I don't have time to walk you through that. But if you go into KV Core, you go to listings, company listings, you could pull up any property, usually in your MLS sector, and market that property as your own. Sounds great? All right, love it, love it, love it. Let me move over the screen of all these amazing people here. All right, let's keep it moving. Chapter 4, you got to feed your feed with the right foods. Kind of what we're talking about right now, right? So making sure that your content that you're putting out there is consistent. I love a mixture. If you guys follow me on IG, it's at Icon Joe Trujillo. I'll make sure I'll put it in the link. But if you follow me, I have a mixture of personal space that I feel comfortable with, a lot of business space, production, recruitment, my speaking engagements, like everything that I'm doing, I love to mix it up, and it gives me like a flow, right? It gives me like, people like to say like keeping a balance, and I think that was in my bio. Instead of balance now, I've really gone with rhythm. I like to create a rhythm in everything that I'm doing. Okay, with that being said, the content that you put out is going to be absolutely key. And there's two elements to content that I've realized that are really, really strong, right? So the first, content is king. Here's one really strong element I really would love for you guys to take in. Content is king. So being cognizant, having this mixture of appealing sales, engaging content, that way your audience starts to see the sales message, but they also just want to connect with you because you're just so dope and they like what you're talking about. Maybe they resonate with you on a personal space, but it'll give you an opportunity to create what's kind of like a sleepy audience or a quiet audience. How many of you guys have that? Like, you're not getting as many likes and comments as you thought maybe that you would when you do a post. It's because they haven't been enlightened yet. They haven't caught your fire. So once you can continue to create content that is appealing to them, you'll see that that'll be very, very important to them. Okay. Now, if content is king, the queen is the theme, right? So having a theme with your business is also going to create this consistency, right? How many of you guys, like when you guys are on IG, you see somebody's profile and you really can't even see it very clearly, but it just catches your eye and hey, that's Rebecca. Hey, that's Veronica. Like, they just posted something in their stories. And what's so unique about the way our brains work is, like, once you've made this cognitive like recognition of things, you will automatically go to it. So imagine how powerful that is as a real estate agent, for you to be able to, for your clients, where they see that Joseph just posted and there's a little ring around his circle and they want to go there. And they keep going there, and I keep feeding them. I'm giving them the food that they want. They're in the process of buying a home. They're looking for an agent to sell. And as I keep feeding them, naturally, they're going to connect with me. Naturally, they're going to want to make that reach out. Okay. Now, there's a lot more to theming. And when you guys take a deep dive into this ebook, you'll get some really, really cool stuff. But the reason why I like this kind of color chart here is, again, maybe I'm just a little psycho with what I used to do in the past, but getting into the psychology of, I would say, the enemy in the past, but let's not go with enemy. Getting in the psychology of the people that we're trying to connect with, also very, very important. And these color schemes have created a really strong opportunity for us to be able to entice them into decision making. So how many of you guys in stories do you see, like when you repost a story, there's all these different colors in the background that you can select? Have you guys ever seen that? Yeah. So that's not just there for giggles. That is there because it can create a backdrop for your reposting in your stories that are going to create a theme that is recognitive of your brand. So some of these color schemes in here, encourage you guys, go back, take a deep dive into it, apply them in your stories, and you'll really start to see the engagement really start to pick up as well in your stories, right? So sometimes in your stories, like for example, I have 16,000 followers. It's not a lot. I'm not a super influencer, not even a micro influencer by those numbers. But you know what? I have like 1,200, 1,500 views in my stories. And it's because I followed this very descriptive path on how to like create content that is engaging to my audience. Like, I don't care about the 4 billion users. I want to live in a space where I'm connecting with 1,000 amazing consumers or realtors. So that way I'm connected with them one-on-one, because that's going to create business flow for me. Make sense? All right. Thumbs up in the thing, little fires, would love it, your guys' engagement with it. All right. Now, also for theming, highly suggest that you guys create like, these are your billboards, guys. This is your opportunity to like ignite your business on fire. Be proud of your brand, right? So if you don't have one yet, like you guys can do all of this in Canva. Like I love black and gold. It just kind of like speaks a little luxe. It kind of just sets like the entire ambiance for my team, right? My team is called Dream Chasers. They all love it. They vibe with it, but this is the kind of marketing material we put out. And if you take a look here, I make what looks very ordinary kind of look a little bit bougie, right? So that is another really strong skill set that I think you guys can take into your business. Take these masterminds that your teams are doing every single Monday, make it your own, repurpose it, create fire, create engagement. Take what is established for you guys and copy it and make it your own. There is absolutely nothing wrong with copying as long as you copy the right cat, right? As long as you copy the right cat, you're going to be able to create some flow with your stuff, right? Transactions, I don't care if you guys are only doing one deal a year. Take the team wins and make them your own, right? People want to see that you're with a winning team. Grab those numbers, make them your own, be proud of your squad, be proud of EXP, because when people see, wow, Joseph did 118 transactions last month. No, he didn't. The cat didn't even sell a home last month, but the team did. And I'm winning with the team and they're winning with me. So it creates momentum, creates fire, right? So it's good stuff there. All right. Pro tip, creating thoughts. And there's this A/B thing that I love to do. I brought this in from the military, right? Sometimes I don't know how my audience is going to respond to something until I test it. So for example, I use stories in that very often. So I'll test maybe a new link that I'm using like on ManyChat. How many of you guys are using ManyChat? Few of you, I'm sure, right? If you're not, write that down, guys. Write ManyChat down. Highly encouraged. It's a third-party app where you can tell your audience as you're posting in Instagram, hey, are you guys interested in purchasing this house? If you are, type buy now in the comments below. And when they type in buy now, it automatically takes them to your KV Core link. They can see the house there, do the sign in and lead capture, right? Everything is lead capture. You got to pull people when you're operating in these spaces. Use it with purpose, okay? But back to the A/B test, I'll do it once, like on a Monday, like today, I'll test something, and then I'll test the exact same thing tomorrow, but with a different look, different frame. I'll take a look at the audience, see how many people forwarded that, how many people liked it, and then that creates a flow for me to be able to determine what people are being most attracted to, right? So A/B test your business. You should be doing the same as it comes to scripts. You should be doing the same when it comes to conversations. Try one format. If not, try another. Maybe use a Tom Ferry. If not, use a Veronica Figueroa. Like, use these kind of things to see what flows for you better. And maybe you take a customized link of both of them both, but it creates an opportunity for you to have a more selective process that creates better results. Okay? Creates better results. Chapter 5, let the organic growth flow naturally. So I have this like really step-by-step process in here, guys, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. I encourage you, go through this guide and I walk you literally through the powerful tools, how to really take a deep dive into the data that's being pulled from your audience, the data that's being pulled from your audience, right? I'm gonna give you guys, I'm gonna go off topic right here with a tip. There's something that I learned in the military that I apply to my business every single day. I recently started talking about it in a lot of detail. It's a military theory called OODA loop. Okay? OODA loop. OODA loop. Anybody ever heard of it? If you ever heard of it, you heard of it, bro? Somebody did. Gerardo heard of it, man. Shout out to you, my brother. Right? And what OODA stands for, it's observe, orient, decide, and act. Observe, orient, decide, and act. It's a military strategy that was used in World War II for airplanes, and the US didn't have the best airplanes up in the sky. But by using this military strategy, we were able to defeat, our counterparts by getting inside of their head. And now this military application is used in business schools. Harvard, Stanford, they all teach it on a very high level, because if you can outperform your competition, you are going to be the marketplace dominant agent no matter where you're at. So you got to start thinking about your competition. It's very, very important. I know people say, stay in your lane, do you, blah, blah, blah. I agree to a certain degree, but real estate is one of the most competitive sports out there, right? It's one of the most competitive sports, especially as we're moving into these new phases in real estate. If you're not going to be able to outperform, outmaneuver, outthink, outmatch the competition, then you may fall yourself being victimized to being an average agent or a below performing agent. And I don't see that in anybody on this call. So take that military strategy and implement it in your business. I do it by looking at the data. The data tells the story, guys. So pay attention to your data. If your numbers are low, if you're noticing that your demographics are not hitting where you need to hit, change yourself. Change yourself. Create new activity, create new content. I don't care if you have to blank out your entire IG. I just did that with one of my influencers on my team. She joined my team, 500,000 followers she had from TikTok, but off of nonsense, right? Off of just like crazy little karaoke things that she used to do. But she was like, Joe, I'm so serious about my real estate business. I want to get more productive in sales. So we literally had to wipe out her entire posts and start brand new and create new content delivery that was specific for her business and brand. Okay, very, very important. These other kind of very optimizing thoughts as it comes to posting. Again, I'd encourage you guys, go back, take a peek at it. But this is when you guys are getting real gangster about what you're doing, right? You're paying attention to time zones, peak hours, lunchtime posting. You're getting very specific, overlapping content. You're paying attention to what like other team members are doing. Like, for example, myself and a lot of my team leaders on our group, we get very strategic with our posts because we don't want to overwhelm like similar audiences, but we want each other to win. So there may be 5 of us and like, we're going to post the same post and I'll be like, all right, Joe, I'm going to hit them at 8. Decatur's going to hit them at 10. Cindy's going to hit them at 12, 2 and 4. And so our audiences, even though they're all gelled, are going to get it every 2 hours. They're going to see, hey, we're having this event on Wednesday. And it just becomes like this mindset thing where our agents that we're recruiting, especially, see the team and they're like, man, that team is on fire. They're putting out content. They're all going to be there on Wednesday. I need to be there. And then they're in the right room at the right time with the right people. Okay. So that's how you create like a little bit of fire with the same exact content. Step 2, study your competitors. We talked at this at a little bit of length. OODA loop, guys. OODA loop. Pay attention to it. It's super, super dope. Okay. Variety to the table. I talk about this all the time. Yes, high quality visuals, photos, videos is key, but doing it right from your phone, absolutely possible. Re-content your team's information as well, another strong way to win, okay? Now, engaging with your audience. Here's some really great tips, and this is how you guys are going to create a lot of flow. This right here, guys, I'll share with you. Again, I don't have a lot of followers, but if you look at my reels, I get the looks on them are bananas. Like I get hundreds of thousands of looks on my reels. And it's because like I'm a little geeked out about when I post, I take 5 minutes. And as the comments are coming in, I respond like within seconds. I'm forwarding it. I'm like, even like screenshotting it. Like Instagram even knows when you screenshot something, right? Like all these little tweaks and turns, I uptake that and I make it like 5 minutes of dedication. So that way my algorithm kicks in and I get a lot of views on my reels. All right. And then I go back and look at who looked at it. And then like my team, I have a VA that specifically goes out and tries to pick out the real estate agents that are not on my team. And then we create conversations. So another great way for recruitment. Okay. Initiating kind of conversations with your followers. We just touched on this. Collaborating with other professionals. Very, very key. Before EXP, this is how I was getting about 10 referrals a year. Just through IG, just by conversation, seeing them in other states. I would touch bases and be like, hey, I'm your guy is SoCal. Back then I was like, check out my reviews on Zillow. And then they felt comfortable because that was the way that they could verify who I was. Because I was a Zillow Flex agent for many years, but collaborating with other real estate professionals, super, super important. Another really quick pro tip, if you guys want to create more audience on IG, everybody that's on our workplace, you know, we have 90,000 agents on workplace, guys. If you connect with 5,000 of them, that's 5,000 new audience members for you on IG, right? So be intentional, connect in all these spaces so you start to flow everybody into your space, and that's going to create more opportunity, okay? It's a little bit high level there. Let's skip over to step 5, persistency over consistency. I love this. Okay. What does this mean, guys? Somebody volunteer. What is being persistent? What's the difference between persistency and consistency? Anybody? I actually put it up there. You have a little cheat sheet up there. Somebody come off mute real quick and tell me, or read that part in the top right corner. Anybody want to take a real quick
I'll
read
jump
of it?
in.
Go
I'll
for
jump
it.
in.
Okay.
Who else wants? If somebody, or Gerald, you know what, Gerardo, go ahead.
Okay. So consistency is off the top right corner, right?
Yeah.
Consistency is often hailed as the cornerstone of success on Instagram, but there's another key element that deserves equal attention: persistence. While consistency emphasizes regularity in your actions, persistence emphasizes continuous effort and determination. Here's why persistence should be a crucial aspect of your Instagram growth in 2024.
Love that, brother. Thank you so much for stepping up to the plate. Appreciate you. So yeah, I love the persistency part of it. Just because it's more self than it is schedule, if that makes sense, right? So I'm a big fan of like once you have it honed in here in the heart, body, and soul, it'll transition into your business. So start inner, work outward. But setting patterns, having calendars, all that stuff, everything works. You just have to put stuff to work. Everything works. Just put stuff to work. Okay. So really great way for you guys to create some more output there. And then the storytelling game. For sales guys, this is where you have to live. For sales, you have to live in storytelling, right? Every single time you close, you got to get in tune, connect. I know we're busy. Take the hour out of your day, get your butts over there to the closing, give them a nice, pretty gift, get the hugs, squeezes, pop bottles, create some content, create that moment for them. As special as it is for them, it's special for us, right? But think about how you can move, how you can impact so many people that want to buy a home. And by that experience that you share with them on Instagram, you're going to be able to touch the hearts and minds of other people. And when you do that, they're going to want to do business with you. They're going to connect. And then us being solution-based professionals, you will find a way, you will find a loan, you will find an opportunity to get them into a house or to sell their home for maximum value. Okay. But if you keep all that, if you keep all those jewels to yourself and you never take the step to put it out in the atmosphere, you're not just shortcutting your clients, yourself, you're shortcutting a lot of people that could have had the opportunity of home ownership. Right. So I don't know. I get a little deep with it, but if you take a little piece of that, I think you'll find that some proper application. Okay. In the stories, again, I've shared, it's a game changer. I think stories is the really strongest way to go. Reels is fire right now. You can create a lot of content, delivery and audience reach in Reels. Combination of both, applying different measures. You're going to find a lot of successes with it. But I don't know, stories is what made it for me, right? And so I like to live there, and I know it's a great way to connect. I like the stories too, though, because there's so many tools in their team that we don't even pay attention to it. And it really wasn't until I started taking a really deep dive into algorithming on social sites where I realized a lot of these little tools, they're not just there for visualization. They are there for audience engagement and reach. So even if you guys take a look at my stories for today, I am very consistent. I will do things like stickers. I will put things like location pins. I tag people. I add music. By doing a variation of all these different kind of opportunities that is provided in our stories, it will create more audience reach for you. This is how I get 1,000 or 1,500 people looking at my stories, because Instagram recognizes that I have all these different things that I'm reaching out to. I forget who shared that nugget with me, but it was a super influencer out here in Los Angeles. And he was like, Joe, you're not using any of your other little features. And as I started to use it, I really start to see it take off. So if you guys could implement that in your stories, a great way to create more reach. Okay, great way to create more reach. Chapter 7, learn from your mistakes. I certainly have. In the beginning, we all figure out and we're trying to figure it out, right? And without ebooks, without information flow, there's tons of it out there, but without the right information, you can find yourself kind of just going in circles. So I hope my expectation is that, you guys get something from this training that implements into your business and that creates more opportunity for you guys to get more wins, to get more sales. Okay. Big mistakes. Let's cover. Everybody talks about the what to do. Let me quickly talk about what not to do. Do not neglect your profile. Okay. Do not neglect your profile. I love that so many professionals are sharing not to overspend your time in social media. I think that is a valuable tip. But I also believe that paying some attention to your business in social media is also just as important. So for myself, for example, I spend 30 minutes a day on Instagram. It's that important for my business because that's where I built it. So I do 10 minutes in the morning for my posts. I do at least 15 minutes of lives or conversation or outreach. And then I also do a recap at the end of the day just to make sure that I'm not missing out on business. Because in the beginning, I would pay attention to it just in the morning, and then I wouldn't look at it until the next day. And then I realized that there were some really strong, hot connections that I could have made had I looked at the end of the day. And I've actually lost business because I didn't check in at the end of the day. Okay, so neglecting your profile is concerning. So don't do that. Size matters. Mistake number 2 is not posting your content as it should be delivered and posted on social. So again, this is a visual thing, but it is important because you can deliver wrong messaging. So if you're posting a landscape type of picture in your square post size, it can look a little off, throws people off. Pay attention to that. And now with Canva, you can take one post and turn it into all these different landscape sizes and make it consistent and fluid, and it creates more opportunity for you. Okay. Covers for reels. I love doing video covers. You can do these very easily on Canva for free. So I encourage you guys when you can do it. If not, at least choose a good cover for your reel. Okay, if you're gonna have it live in your story. I have an example of one of my team members who posted like this $1 million open house that she was doing, and she posted this, the cover of it was like a painting that was inside of this house. And somebody in her audience recognized that type of painting from this artist. And she reached out to my agent and was like, hey, I see that art. Where did you see that at? It's kind of like a luxury thing. And that conversation led into that person purchasing that home, right? She referred her son purchased the house, all because of that very specific cover that she used from a piece of art inside of that listing, right? So there's so much power in the little things that we do, and paying attention to the details will set you apart. Low quality images, we know the basics. High quality over bad quality always wins, right? Bad copywriting, I think this is another very important thing, is using the right kind of attention grabbing headers in your sublines, in your headlines. Call to actions is something that I really would love for you guys to take away. Have call to actions, especially as it relates to sales. At the end of your context, tell your consumers what you want them to do, right? Using ManyChat, saying, hey, type buy now in the comments below so you can lead capture. Telling them to go to your link to register for your buyer's presentation that you're doing this Saturday. Tell them what you want them to do. Otherwise, you'll just be a swipe, right? You'll just be a swipe. You'll capture more audience in that space. Okay. Chapter 8, I would encourage you guys, go back, nail it with keywords and hashtags. Very important. There's actually some really great information in here, and I have a few links that are added to it where it'll show you, by using the proper hashtags, how you can like hit upper echelons of audiences that are very targeted for your business. There's a link in here that'll show you like trending ones not to use, having proper etiquette, business practices, and such. Okay. And last but not least, I am just going to literally just share all this with you guys. I'm going to send it to your team leaders. And so then that way you guys have actionable, reference for you guys to be able to grow your sales business, your recruiting business, your personal life, all in one space. Absolutely love you guys giving me an opportunity to come on here and share some time with you. And if we have time for Q&As, I would love it.
Yes, Joseph, thank you so much. Everyone throw a fire in the chat if you got at least one nugget out of this call today. I got a ton, so thank you so much, Joseph, for being on here today. We did have a couple of questions in the chat, so if you're ready, I just want to nail right through those, if that's okay with you.
I would love it, love it, love it. Yes, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So first question, so professional account or regular account, what do you recommend?
Great question. I suggest a professional account. And the reason why is because you want to take advantage of all the professional account benefits, such as, and most importantly, being able to create ads, right? So creating ad space is something that we didn't cover, but as you start to create business, guys, right? Just good business. How much, like I suggest to my team, 10% of all your closings should be going back into your business in a very specific element to create duplicated success. And a good way to do that is by creating ads, and having a professional account will enable you to do that.
Perfect, perfect. Other question, how did you build your number of followers? And how long have you been doing it?
Yeah, so I've been on IG from the jump. So 2012, I joined IG, and at the time I was traveling very heavily for the government, and I would post just, hey, that amazing lamb shank in London, right? Or Indian food in Mumbai. And so that's how I created my audience. It was just like that. But as an entrepreneur, I dove into, CrossFit gyms, and then I had clothing line brands, and I would literally just change my name, and I would take that same audience and apply it here. And I did that with real estate. So if you already have an older brand, that worked for me. Just bring them all over and start selling them homes.
I love that. I love that. Another question. What do you think about purchasing followers?
Never do that.
Yep.
Never do that. Don't do that, guys. Because what it does is it'll stunt your growth, right? It'll stunt your growth. You will not see the engagement. As a matter of fact, Instagram will almost shun you from opportunity. So don't do that.
Agree. A couple of other questions. So, should we have, I think we already talked about that. Should we post lifestyle stuff? So, should it all be business or should we throw in some family things?
Oh man, I'm a big fan of lifestyle, right? So absolutely suggest that you do within reason, within your own comfortability, right? So I feel more comfortable putting like light stuff in stories that are more personal, that create relationship. And then on my post, on my page, I keep it kind of business. I keep it 100 with, all right, this is what I'm doing. I'm a mover and shaker. Like if you don't run with me, you're going to be sleeping.
I love that. I love that. So someone else mentioned that they have a main page with 13,000 followers and they want to know, because it was ran as a foodie influencer, should they create a separate page for real estate or should they just do it all in one?
So the way I would answer that is if you're still earning income from that page in a separate business entity, absolutely keep it intact. That's what my suggestion is. However, if you're no longer in that space, I would suggest that you bring all those people to real estate and find a good way to anchor both of them. Why not take food and real estate? It's a perfect parallel. You'll keep your audience and then you'll create more engagement with another community.
I like that. I like that. Are gym photos okay? What do you think about that?
Yes and no. As long as you don't keep it too ratchet, then yes. I like the motivation. I like being in the gym and you're like, hey, this is how I do me every morning, 5, 6 a.m. And it creates inspiration. So if it's inspirational, yes.
I love that. And Jenny made a great comment. It's always the and. So it's real estate and what is your and? And I think you just mentioned food could be that person's and. So I love that. Another question. So how many posts per day? Stories, reels, posts? How many times?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like all the greats go with high numbers, like 7 to 10 posts. And for me, that's also a reach. So I find myself somewhere between 3 and 10 a day. Yeah, 3
Okay.
and 10. Are we talking about posts?
I think overall. So post stories
Overall.
and reels. Yep.
Yeah, post story and reels. Like this morning, I popped out like 10 stories like in 5 minutes, right? So you can do it fast, right? Yeah.
Gotcha. So in your stories, are these you talking? Or are you sharing just kind of static posts? Like what are you sharing?
So I have this rhythm, right? So I have some business content that goes out on my main page, where I'm directing them because we're in the business of making money, guys, right? Nothing wrong with that. So I need to have money making activity posts and I make that live on my main page. And then in my stories, I'm speaking personal links, go here, purchase here, this is where I was. And it creates kind of like community for you. That's my thought is community.
Gotcha, gotcha. And Susanna asks, how? How do you fit all this in? How do you have time for everything?
Scheduling, like I am a little obsessive about my schedule, right? And so I wake up every day at 4:30 in the morning. You guys will probably even see some 5 a.m. Proverbs readings that I've been doing recently that I took on. So, but I create my entire day and I keep it running all the way till 9 o'clock. But I do pay very close attention to my family time. I'm very structured, and then I leverage teams. So I have a team that helps me with a lot of this, right? I have one VA and she is absolutely amazing. And she spends about an hour of her time helping me out with social media.
Gotcha, gotcha. So you said you had your Instagram account since 2012. So when did you actually see the followers really increase exponentially?
Really not until I got into real estate. Admittedly, yeah, I think I had like 5,000 maybe ish followers. And it wasn't until I got into real estate in 2016 when I was posting so much with such intense purpose of getting new buyers and sellers that it started to create opportunity for me. So by the time I had around 5,000, and I remember when I joined EXP, I've had about 7,500 or so, and I've doubled it in the last 4 years. But what I love about my doubling, it doesn't sound like a lot, but that doubling is really true people that I've connected with.
I love that. I love that. And I think someone asked earlier on in your conversation, is it too late? It feels oversaturated on Instagram. Is it too late to get started now?
Never that. There's 4 billion, 4 billion users, guys, on IG right now. There'll be 5, there'll be 6. I don't know. Isn't there like 8 billion people in the world? Half of the world is on Instagram. Are you kidding me? That's bananas. So no, you have full opportunity at hand, just like at EXP Realty. You have 96% market share to go. You guys are in the right place. Get into it.
Joseph and D'Amica, Jenny here. Just wanted to say thank you so much. Joseph, you absolutely crushed this presentation. I also wanted to suggest something, since this is a true mastermind, I wanted to show you guys that at the end of the day, all that hard work, love, and dedication that goes into our Instagram and to our social media is for one thing, right? To convert, to get people to build your list, your email list, to get people on your calendar. So you get even more motivated when you have a clear call to action. And I wanted to blow your bangs back today by showing you guys this. It's called a stand store. Raise your hand if you've heard of a stand store. So if you haven't yet executed on your stand store, make sure you do. I'm just going to show you Veronica's here. But here's a quick example of, you know, the first things first, partner with me. Let's talk about EXP, get on my calendar, because a lot of people are like, how do I partner with you, right? Okay, so Stan takes care of Calendly. It takes care of your payments. It takes care of everything in one place, where you're replacing even Kajabi. You can have an e-course on here. You can monetize to its maximum potential. So even though you're building all this infrastructure in your websites, if you are or you're not, this is a one-stop shop, very like a link in bio, like a link tree, but on steroids. That is actually taking money now from your viewers who are like, take my money because I appreciate all your expertise anyway, right? Download my free ebook. You want me on your podcast? Absolutely. That's an hour of my time. 100% put on my calendar, but make sure you put your credit card on there as well, right? So it just depends on where you at in your business, but this is like a link in bio, link tree on steroids. Take advantage of monetizing fully. And I'll share my referral link as well, because it's just a game changer. Joseph, I'm sure, you know, like once you have that landing page, now you're talking, right? Now you get people in your funnels in the right place at the right time. So I super appreciate you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Jenny. I appreciate you, the entire team. You guys are absolutely amazing. You guys, if I wasn't a dream chaser, I'd be over here. I promise you.
Oh, that's so sweet. And I want to jump in. Thank you, Jenny, for sharing that golden nugget with us. D'Amica had to jump off, but she's an amazing influencer as well on Instagram. And so I thank her for doing the Q&A with us today. Joseph, you have given us so much. I know I personally have to do an audit of all my social media platforms. It's a huge undertaking, but I know that I have the right people in my court that can help me get that done. And I just need to take action on it. I loved that golden nugget with the OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, and act. So I need to take action. How many of us need to take action right now and amp up our social media? I had one question for you, Joseph. So I know, like, I have still a rather small following. I do have, you know, some action in there, and I've had some activity on my small efforts, right? And I know that the most important thing to do is just take action. However it comes out, just put it out there, and I'm good at that. At least putting stuff out there, whether it's good or not, I don't know. I just throw it all out there and see what sticks. And we're going to have to come up with a strategy pretty soon. However, the important thing is to just go. Now, I've seen some amazing content creators put stuff out there that doesn't seem to get much attraction. Do you know why that might be happening? What people could do to get more attraction? I mean, some pretty good stuff, really great reels, good quality messages there, and it's not quite landing. Do you know why that might be happening? And a quick tip that could help somebody who's been consistent, who maybe just needs to put in a little bit more work. Like, why do you think that might be happening?
I think it has to do with just not taking like a deep evaluation of the content. And that's why I love that A/B test thing that I put in there.
Mm.
It's like, test it out, right? I think like some of the best people that are in marketing, I'm sure before Pepsi or Coke rolls out like $1 million commercial during the Super Bowl, they're testing their marketplaces before they put it out, right? So test it out on your socials. I used to do that on TikTok. I would try a reel out to see what it looked like before I put it, but then I was just overthinking. But I think back to your question, Rebecca, I think what happens is sometimes we just get content out, and I love that because you do create engagement, but there's some that just hit harder than others, right? It is what it is. There's some that go viral and there's some that don't, but don't overthink it. Put up some great content and let the chips kind of fall where they may.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. In the chat, what has been your greatest takeaway that you're going to implement on your social media feeds or your channels? Like, I want to know, what is the biggest takeaway that you've learned today with Joseph? Thank you again, Joseph, so much for everything. Now, a reminder, today's episode is going to be released on YouTube later this week. It will be also in our globalallianceuniversity.com, where you can catch all of our GAP Mastermind replays. And also another quick reminder, register for buildatc24.com. We look forward to seeing you there. It will be August 2nd through the 5th. You can bring the family, invited guests, bring your team. Be there. I'm going to be there. I know many of you are going to be there as well. So register today. Also, EXPCon. Want information more about EXPCon this year? It will be in Miami, sunny Miami. So to get more information, go to expcon.exprealty.com. If you want to join, that will be in Miami again, October 27th through the 30th. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you again next week. Have a great one, everyone. Adios.
Bye, team.